Welcome back to the deep dive. So if you've ever walked through Hong Kong's Eastern District, maybe around Quarry Bay, North Point, you see all the shiny buildings, right?
Yeah, the modern corporate hub look.
Exactly. But we're doing this deep dive because the story beneath that surface, it's actually, well, way more profound than just commerce.
Absolutely right. Our mission today, really, is to give you a shortcut, a way to understand this really complex history along the coastline. We've dug into stories about, colonial money, huge industries clashing, and then these waves of really vibrant migration.
We're looking for what, like 5 key stories? And the physical things left behind that anchor them.
That's the plan, to really explain this part of Hong Kong beyond just the shopping malls.
And what jumps out straight away is this paradox almost. You've got Quarry Bay and North Point right next to each other.
Yeah, geographically connected, but shaped by totally different forces. It's fascinating.
Quarry Bay, basically a massive industrial project, right?
Yeah.
Driven by foreign capital.
Yeah, Butterfield and Swire, Taikoo.
And then North Point, this cultural engine, really, built by waves of Chinese immigrants, their resilience.
Like Hong Kong's dual soul packed into one district.
The names even tell that story, don't they? Quarry Bay.
Right. The original name, Ziyu Chung, it means something like fish stream. Suggests nature, fish in a stream.
Pristine, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the English name, Quarry Bay, Stone Mine Bay, it's all about extraction, industry.
So the economics of the 19th century, digging up granite, reclaiming land, just completely overwrote the natural landscape.
Yeah, the name itself is like a little historical marker, Industry 1.
Okay, so let's dig into that. That conflict between the fish stream and the quarry.
Yeah.
Starting with that huge industrial force, the Taikoo Kingdom.
Okay, Taikoo, or Butterfield and Swire, officially.
Right.
They show up around 1883 and just, wow, they rapidly turned this shoreline into probably the biggest industrial zone Hong Kong had seen.
And we're not just talking one factory here, are we?
Oh, no. It was a whole ecosystem, self-sufficient almost.
Yeah.
You had the enormous Piker dockyard, the huge sugar refinery, and the Hong Kong soda factory, which, fun fact, later became the main bottler for Coca-Cola here.
The scale is just, it's hard to picture today. Think about it like a modern tech giant, maybe, building its own entire city.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
A campus city with housing, hospitals, everything, but all centered on heavy industry.
And that dockyard alone employed over 5,000 people.
Oh, 5,000 workers, yeah. And the sources say its shipbuilding tech, its capacity. It was competitive with Japan at the time. This wasn't just local stuff. It was global.
But that kind of power, that industrial might, it faded eventually as Hong Kong shifted.
Right, shifted away from manufacturing towards finance, services, and Taikoo Place, the shiny office complex you see now.
Taikoo Fong.
Yeah, Taikoo Fong. It stands right where that massive dockyard used to be.
So for someone visiting wanting to connect that past roar with the present, what's the actual physical anchor?
You need to look for the Taikoo Dockyard Crane Tower remains. They've actually preserved them. Standing right there among all the modern glass and steel. It's a very visible marker of that huge economic shift.
But it raises that question, doesn't it? Is it genuine preservation? Or is it like heritage branding?
Good point.
Does keeping one piece of metal really capture the grit, the smoke, the danger of that whole community? Or is it history made neat, packaged to look good for the corporate tenants?
I think it's probably a bit of both, realistically. But it does work as an entrance point. It makes you stop and think, okay, this ground wasn't always shiny offices. It was steel. It was sweat.
Okay, moving from the sheer scale, that economic power also created really rigid structures, didn't it? Like the colonial hierarchy. They literally built class difference into the landscape.
Absolutely. That's our second story. Spatial segregation.
Right.
The colonial corporate structure was very hierarchical. Taikoo housed its thousands of Chinese workers in these really tightly packed blocks near the docks.
The Thai-branded blocks, right? Thai Zulu.
Yeah, many had Thai in the name. Close-knit communities, sure, but right there in the noise and the smoke of the industry. Built for work proximity.
Okay, contrast that life with the elegance almost of the Lam Tin House, Lam Benuke, that red brick house up on the hill.
Big contrast. That house was strictly for senior Taikoo staff, mostly expats back then.
Better views, privacy.
Exactly. And literal distance from the work, the noise, the workers below. The height, the style, it screams colonial class separation.
And Lam Tin House has its own strange story too, right? Being empty for ages.
Yeah, it was vacant for decades, from the 70s onwards. And because it's up there, looking a bit spooky, locals apparently called it the haunted house. GUK.
GUK, okay.
But here's the really nice part, the reflection. That house, once a symbol of elite separation, maybe a bit mysterious,
Yeah.
it's now the Biodiversity Education Center,
Mhm.
a public space for learning, for nature. So you go from this strict separation to a place everyone can visit. It kind of symbolizes that social integration, moving past the colonial divides. The geography of exclusion becomes shared space.
That's a great transformation. Okay, third story for Quarry Bay connects industry and class to war.
Mm-hmm.
Taika wasn't just about commerce. Its size made it a key strategic point during the Battle of Hong Kong in 1941.
Precisely. You can't have an industrial giant like that without it becoming militarily important. So the hills behind the dockyard, Mount Parker Road, those trails, they were fortified.
And there are still traces up there, things most hikers probably walk right past.
Exactly. Which brings us to this idea of history hiking. The trails people use for weekend walks, parts of the Wilson Trail, Cornhill Nature Trail,
Yeah.
they hide these amazing artifacts.
Okay, so what are we looking for?
Well, if you know what to spot over about a 6-kilometer route, you can find things like wartime stoves, Jinsei Lujo hidden in the bushes.
For the soldiers.
Yeah. And ruins of reservoirs, Suitong Wejik, that originally supplied water to the Taiku industries down below.
Connecting industry and military.
And even bits of the old Taiku sugar refinery cable car bridge. It's all up there.
There's a physical journey connecting industrial infrastructure, military defense, all on a hiking path.
You get the exercise and the historical detective work, perfect for someone wanting to really walk through those layers of history.
Okay, so we've got Quarry Bay, industrial, colonial, sort of rigid. Now let's shift gears. Cross the boundary into North Point.
Right. A place whose story isn't so much about foreign capital, but about the incredible energy and, frankly, the toughness of Chinese migration.
North Point's modern history kicks off when, around the 1920s?
Yeah, around 1921, a Fujianese property developer named Li Chunyang really got things going. His work attracted huge numbers of Fujian immigrants.
And that's where the nickname comes from, Little Fujian.
Exactly. Minnam Yu, the Fujianese dialect, was commonly heard. They brought their language, their food, their way of doing things, still using limited space.
Which leads to one of Hong Kong's most unique sites. That's the Chunyang Street Market, right? Chunyang Gai.
Oh, it's more than unique. It's chaotic. It's amazing. A total hidden gem.
Describe it for us.
Okay, picture a street market. Super narrow, packed solid, with stalls, veggies, meat, dried goods. Barely room to walk.
Yeah.
And then the ding-ding cram comes. And it doesn't stop at the edge. It goes slowly right through the middle of the market.
Seriously, like brushing past the stalls.
Practically brushing the shoppers and the goods.
Yeah.
It's this incredible scene of dynamic compromise, maybe. Early immigrants just maximizing every single inch for business.
The sounds, the smells. It must be intense. Tram screeching, vendors yelling.
Cantonese, Minnanese, Mandarin, fresh fish, spices. Yeah, it's a full sensory overload.
Right.
But it's such a raw display of that immigrant tenacity.
And the Fujian culture is still visible there, beyond just the language.
Definitely. If you look near the pier, you'll find stalls selling life-release fish, Fong Song Yu.
For religious practices.
Exactly. It's a traditional Fujian Buddhist practice, buying captive animals, fish in this case, and setting them free.
Yeah.
It shows how deep cultural roots survive right alongside that intense commercial drive.
That resilience is amazing. But North Point didn't just stay little Fujian, did it? After World War II, another layer gets added.
Right, the layering effect. Post-war, North Point attracts a huge wave of immigrants from Shanghai, and it gets its second nickname, Little Shanghai.
So how did that change things? Fujian meets Shanghai.
It's about different kinds of capital, almost. The Fujian Foundation was trade, community, maybe more grassroots. The Shanghai influx, often people escaping the mainland, brought wealth, sophistication.
By culture, entertainment.
Exactly. Finance, film, performance. It layered this cosmopolitan sheen onto the existing community.
And the icon of that era has to be the State Theater, right?
Yeah.
Longdu Heiyuan used to be the Empress Theater.
Absolutely central. And architecturally, it's a gem. That incredible hyperbolic arch structure on the roof.
It really stands out. You don't see many like that.
It was super early postmodern design for Hong Kong. Really distinctive.
And culturally, it was a big deal.
Oh, huge. It hosted everything. Cantonese opera, international performers.
Yeah.
And it has this moment cemented in music history.
Which is?
August 1970. A very young singer, just 17 years old, performs there. Teresa Teng.
Wow. The Teresa Teng?
The one and only. That performance was apparently a key moment for her right at the start of her massive career. It really marks the theater's golden age.
And today, you can see the city trying to balance preserving that history with, well, modern life, like the theater versus the new waterfront park nearby.
Yeah, contrast a huge effort going into saving and restoring the State Theater with the sleek, modern East Coast Park precinct.
Yeah.
Dungangon Bondu.
That boardwalk with the amazing harbor views.
Right. It's a city providing modern leisure space, redefining the waterfront connection. But having cultural anchors like the State Theater nearby is crucial, right? So the district keeps its historical soul, not just the nice views. Hashtag tag conclusion and reflection.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've really seen the two sides of the Eastern District's soul, haven't we?
Definitely. Quarry Bay represents that solid, maybe rigid foundation of foreign industry, steel and capital.
And North Point, more fluid, culturally packed, built on the resilience of Chinese migration and community spirit.
And the beautiful thing is, you can still touch this history through those markers we talked about.
Right, the crane tower pieces.
The Red House, now a public center.
Those wartime stoves hidden on the trails.
The tram slicing through the market.
And that amazing arch on the State Theater.
They're not just stories, they are physical ways in. They let you connect directly with the complex history, the urban struggles that shaped this area.
It really feels like the story of Quarry Bay and North Point is Hong Kong in miniature, in a way, turning a peripheral area into this economic and cultural powerhouse, that mix of industrial power and sheer immigrant determination.
That collision of forces, yeah. That's what makes it such a rich place to explore. It turns a simple visit into something much deeper.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we finish this deep dive, here's something for you, our listeners, to think about. A final question, maybe.
Okay.
We've seen how economic shifts and migration shaped this district. But think about today's changes. Taiku Place, replacing the dockyards, heritage branding on old buildings.
Yeah.
What's the potential cultural cost when the original, maybe raw, messy life of those industrial or immigrant communities gets cleaned up, sanitized for modern consumption? What does resilience really mean today? Is it the original grit, or is it the ability to adapt smoothly even if something gets lost?
That's a tough one. Worth mulling over.
Definitely. So our advice, go find those locations we talked about. Walk the streets. See if you can feel those layers yourself.
Connect the pieces. Thanks
Yeah.
for diving deep with us today.